So this is Stonkington, and I wanted to put out another recap video for a watchlist trade from Friday that was TSM. This one's really going to be mostly about highlighting the way I like to use, or one of the ways I like to use, the Black Box Stocks website. So here's the activity on TSM. I'm in historical mode on Black Box right now. So we're getting everything that came in for TSM on Thursday, the 23rd. The big reason that I had an eye on TSM going into Friday was this dark pool right here. Almost 30% average daily volume in one transaction that came in after the market closed. So when I see a line like this, it's like definitely eye-catching because someone, wanted that much TSM after the market closed at this specific price. So this is a good line I would be adding to my TSM chart. So I can just kind of start out by getting that one added in. Again, I always do gold for the dark pool there, and I'm also in a replay mode. So this is what the chart looked like going Thursday after the market closed, going into Friday when I had it on the list. The other interesting piece that I noticed, aside from this dark pool, was during the day on TSM, seeing a lot of these puts that came in on the bid, especially these ones out to 2023. So just as a quick reminder on flow, most cases when I see a put on the bid, I'm thinking that could be bullish, meaning it's either a put writing or closing a put position. In most cases, not every single time. If you see puts on the bid mixed with puts on the ask, that's going to be something that would require another look. But repeat lines of puts on the bid. I'm a shorter term trader, so I don't put a lot of weight when I see something out to the middle of next year. But then we even saw some puts on the bid for coming up into next Friday. So this is just kind of putting the different pieces of the puzzle together on TSM from using the black box site. So then I came over to the chart to start working on what levels I would keep on watch. And so I have the dark pool added in there. And again, as I said, I always start on the daily. I mentioned that in the last video. So one thing I'm starting to see looking at this daily chart would be there's a nice falling wedge type compression right here, which would also signal a bullish reversal. So I don't really like to go in with any biases to the next day, but when I'm looking at this technical setup, that would be kind of this wedge going, and then based on bid side puts, that would be giving me some kind of bullish signals there between the technical setup and the flow. So then I'm going to drill down because, again, scalping trader, I would want to take a look and find some levels that would kind of line up with that. So just kind of coming in here, seeing which lines look important on longer time frames. Looks like we probably would have something important somewhere around, this is where I actually ended up using as a puts trigger. Right here would be that 83.50. And then I gave it a line up here. This looked pretty important, was this 84.45 was where I decided if it broke that, I would be taking it long. The reason that I like to give it a couple cents to the upside as opposed to just using the dark pool is I like to give it a chance to kind of react to this level as opposed to just jumping in, based on being above or below. So then I would kind of go in here and add some lines for price targets, just kind of looking visually. I learned from 7-Star Mike using round numbers, just something that algos are on the lookout for in most times. So I had a price target there up at 85 even, and then maybe to the downside would be something like this, like 82.9, and just kind of switch it up to give myself a visual reminder that's a target to the downside, target to the upside. So that was kind of the setup I saw. And so we have our lines from this wedge on the daily. I also saw a shorter term, as I was zooming in. There's also kind of a falling wedge type setup here on the hourly that would look like another, even shorter term potential bull reversal pattern there. So this is what I had going into Friday as a watch list chart. Something very similar to this I posted out on Discord as well as my Twitter. So the next step would be just looking at the price action. We can do a live replay and see what the entries and exit mindset would look like. Okay, so here we have the TSM chart on the 3-minute setup as we come into the open. So I'm going to get this going here. We can kind of walk through the mindset of what it would look like live trading. So here in the first candle, we break the call trigger. And then come down for a retest. And then second candle, or third candle, I should say, since the open, the retest fails. So as I've mentioned in the last video, the first break, that's my signal to do nothing because I'm waiting for a retest. Especially, with this being a 3-minute chart, so the market's only been open 9 minutes by the time we get here. And another piece I mentioned in the last video is just the open is a lot of fake outs, a lot of repositioning, a lot of ups and downs. So I'm usually waiting till at least we get a 15-minute orb range before I'm putting on a position or looking for kind of like a more defined chart setup that we saw in the last video. Although with TSM overnight, we kind of had it breaking out of this wedge from the day before. So just in terms from pattern perspective on a longer time frame, we're looking at a potential falling wedge break to go to the upside. But then just using the list triggers here, I'd still be doing nothing through this area. And then if we continue the playback here, now we're kind of popping the level. So pausing here, we didn't even come back down to the retest of the dark pool, and now we're back and we have 3 candles there closing above. So I'm getting long. I believe I got in right around this candle here. Just because now we see we're closing over the level, we're getting some upward momentum, and then I'd be watching for the reaction there to 85. So there we did see some resistance, and then we just got some nice continuation there. So as an options trade, once we broke this level and moved on up, this would be really good money trading options, as well as commons either way. The other thing we would look at, kind of similar to how we did last video, we could start looking at some of these indicators to kind of see where this would help. So we can see where it so here's our retest failure, then we push back up, we grab VWAP, we go to the upside, we can add some of these EMAs. So if you were, again, waiting for additional signals, you could take the 9 EMA crossing VWAP, also a nice push up from that area. So those are just kind of some of the ways that you could have used the watch list for a winning trade to the upside on TSM from Friday. The other thing, if we come back over to black box stocks and get out of this historical mode for the dark pool, there was also a nice dark pool to close on after the market was closed on Friday. Another 20% average daily volume at 85.92, which if we turn off replay, that's basically where the price action ended on Friday after market close. So that'd be a good line to have on the chart. Again, nothing here would be a buy or sell recommendation, but looking at TSM in a longer time frame, breaking that wedge, getting additional dark pool. I'd be watching this next week to see the reaction there. But TSM could see some nice continuation. So that's all I got on this one. I'll be working on some new lists for this week. All right. Thanks for watching.